Hello, my Cancer Collective. This is Zaida Velgara from Becoming I Am, here to give you your message for January, February, March of 2026. I hope you enjoy it. So, 2026 starts a 9-year cycle. It's kind of like the beginning of a 9-year cycle. And so, this is when we kind of plant seeds to what it is that we want to be when we grow up. It's the best way to say. And it's really important for you, especially Cancer, because you're all about foundation. Like, being stable, creating those networks and those things that make you feel safe and secure so that you can create, right? So starting off, I'm going to be using some Oracle. It's going to tell you the energy center we're going to be focusing on and then some extra stuff. And then we'll go through month and month, okay? With some tarot. Wow. So we have completion, and this is a sacral space. So I feel like you finished a creation. You finish a cycle that was attached to maybe childhood wounding, maybe things that have to do with your divine feminine energy. So abundance, multiplication, growth, expansion. So you finished a story is the best way to explain it. So it feels like 2026 is a commencement of a new story. Let's see more about that. I'm saying it in a question because it does feel like that's what they're trying to say, right? Yeah, shut up. And look at what flies out. North Node. See, and that is your future. So I feel like up to this point, like up to 2025, your life was all about just closing old cycles, doubts, fears, worries, generational like traumas, etc. This is all you were doing. You were just closing all the doors. And now you're going to be able to move into your North Node energy. So I do recommend you checking out like the readings that have to be with your North Node, because it will tell you a little bit more as to where your focus is going to be, even though this one will be general. FYI, these cards are really hard to like shuffle because they're kind of sticky. I think it's the matted thing on it. So what I do is just move them around a little bit and then pick a rando. Okay. That one they don't like. That one. Okay. And then I'm going to do the same with this deck here. Same problem. That, and you know, I got short, fat fingers. And like, these bulky cards are hard for, made me move. That one, they said that one. And the bottom. Okay. So the two cards that we have here, look, it's a sword. And I'm feeling, you see how the North Node energy is kind of this grayscale? It's to be understood there, okay? The reason I say that is because South Node energy, the things that you grew up in, blah, 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 there is, it might be uncomfortable, but there is at least this sense of, at least I know where I stand in this situation. I know who I am in this situation. I know what is expected of me in this situation. And when you start moving into North Node energy, you don't. Like, you don't know what is being expected of you. You don't know if you can meet those expectations. The thing is, you wouldn't be able to move into North Node energy like what you aspire to be, what you desire to be, if you hadn't already gone through all the lessons of the South Node, right? So though there is fear because there is so much unknown, it is something that you have prepared for. You have tools that you will be bringing back when you do things. I always tell that to like my kids and everybody that I know regarding your tools. There are so many classes I've taken, so many career avenues I've gone through, etc., that I feel like was a waste of time because that's not who I decided to be when I grew up. But as I'm going through life, I'm figuring out how I can use like something that I learned over there and something that I learned over there and some skill that I learned over there to become more of that person I'm moving into. And we have the Virgin's Milk, which again, it feels like pure intentions into a new avenue. I'm going to pause the video so I can get more information on that because it kind of feels very sexual. But hold on. And I mean, we're talking about the sacral space. All right. So this is the alchemy guidebook for this cards. And the Virgin's Milk, it says if you want to go deeper and understand more, watch that movie 40-Year-Old Virgin, where, you know, he went through a lot of stuff and it just didn't work out, and then it took forever and you got where you had to be. I feel like that's kind of what's happening to you. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to laugh, but it's not about the whole sexual thing, though it's possible. It's more about something that you were trying to create. Like, let's say you were trying for a long time to get a career and it seemed like every single obstacle out there presented itself, and you can call it divine timing, but also it could have been something where you needed to mature emotionally, you needed to mature psychologically, you needed to mature some kind of way so that you can get what it is that you wanted, like discipline, consistency. Because of the fact that I'm seeing a connection in your sacral space to this, and this is where we usually have our inner child, there might have been childhood wounds that, though you were like 2 seconds away from obtaining what it is that you wanted for the future, you wouldn't get it because you would self-sabotage, because there's a part of you, even subconsciously, that might have thought that you didn't deserve it. And so what I'm seeing here with this, it says that the denial of the thing that you've been working so hard to obtain, I'm talking about like you've put your time, energy, effort, you've done your manifestations, you cried to whatever bejesus you believe in, right? To really, really get this dream started, and it just felt on deaf ears. It wasn't falling on deaf ears. It was being prepared because the right situation needed to present itself to you, the right scenario, the right movement forward. It says here, yes, this milky substance is a symbol of purity and innocence, but it's shadowed by the side of naivete and even denial. And see, this is what I'm saying. Like, I feel like the stagnation that you were experiencing, I'm sorry, all of a sudden I felt like I felt this in my heart space really, really strong. The denial, the restriction that you were experiencing was because there was something that you were naive to, right? So this can be people that might have tried to stop you and you were still helping them, or um, naive about the world, or naive about yourself, you know, like what you have the potential to do. But there's also this feeling of, I don't know if I'm worth it. I don't know if people would want to listen to me. I don't know if people would want to go in that direction with me, you know? And so this one's hard. Like, I'm listening to this and I'm getting this message from this, and it feels so heavy because it's something you've tried forever. Like, you've really put your time, energy, effort, everything in, and it seemed like all you did was hit walls and walls and walls. And I think everybody else would have given up already, but you're like, I believe in this dream. And I feel like this is exactly where you're going to go because you believed in yourself. And you work through all those childhood wounds to get to where you wanted to be. Like, you knew who you were supposed to be when you grew up, even though everything around you said you weren't going to be that. And you're going to push to become that person, or have that career, or move in that agenda that you want. This feels really beautiful and very touching. Like, my heart feels so heavy, you guys. Um, so let me just take a breath on that. And then let's go through the months, right? Let's like swipe right to the next thing before I start crying. And we're gonna go with January. My nose just started itching, so I know I got spirit here. They usually like to back me up whenever I get really emotional. They give me that extra little push, you know? All right. So I'm gonna do the pyramid first. And then um and then I'll tell you what's up, okay? I am not going to be pulling up the cards too much. I just don't need this video flagged, and I'm over it. So you can see them at an angle. You know that I'm actually pulling them and not through them in the table and just making something up. Oh, the conclusion came out with 2, of course. The bottom of the deck, we have the Ace of Swords. This is this. I had this whole spiel. I think it was the Spanish one, actually. I'm not sure. But this, yes, it was the Spanish one. So I'm going to tell you guys in English. Of the Sword and the Stone. So, King Arthur, the Round Table, the Sword and the Stone, etc., etc. It's actually like a story of alchemy. And what it's saying is that as long as your mind and your words are stuck in the earth, right? What people believe, what you got taught, this is how things are, blah, 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 and all these naysayers, these negative self-talks that came through from family, from your society, from your culture, etc. Your sword is stuck on the stone. And the significance of Arthur being so young, pulling the sword from the stone, is if you wanted to talk about Bible, is the Bible preference that says only those with the heart of a child can see the face of God. I feel like you trying to pull and pull and pull and pull this sword out of the stone, trying to change yourself by affirmations, by plans, by actions, by whatever it is that you did, to try to get yourself healed. Nothing was working until you healed that inner child. We're going back. Oh, this is giving me some crazy chills, you guys. You heal that inner child. Okay? And that goes back to, and oh my God. Hold on. Oh my God, I'm really emotional in this reading. And you got helped by a grandfather energy. So this could have been a past grandfather, somebody that's on the other side, or a male figure of your family or your lineage that helped you on the other side push over this hurdle. But it was healing your inner child. And then once you healed it, then you were able to pull that sword from the stone. And now you're able to point it to the sky. And that goes to the magician energy. And that's important because he showed up here, the magician, okay? That he usually has one fingers pointing up and some fingers pointing down like this, because he's saying as above, so below. And that's the Our Father, right? If you guys knew how much the Bible is alchemy. Anyways, the Our Father, right? Or the as above, so below energy. And finally, being able to heal that child allowed you to connect that energy. And finally, what you know that you are as above, you will be able to bring it below. That's why King Arthur then became the king, right? Because he became the ruler of his world. And this is important for you to understand, this whole storyline and narrative that I'm telling you, because what I'm seeing is you start off everything with the 5 of Wands. And the 5 of Wands in this card is a boxing ring. You've literally been fighting, and it has cost you blood, sweat, tears. I'm sure you have scars. I'm sure that you have things in your body that demonstrates, even physical pains, that demonstrates how hard this struggle was. Okay? And what happened was you became king. We have the King of Wands, right? You became king of your world, king of your fire, king of your ability to take action in what you want. And that gave you the energy to connect to your inner mage, your inner magician, your inner alchemist. Because now that I have the ability to fight for myself, to defend myself, to advocate for myself, to voice my opinion, to be myself without any kind of limitation, because other people feel uncomfortable, because I have to be empathetic and think about everybody else but myself. Because that has moved into, no, I have to think about myself first. And that's not selfish. Selfish is, I'm going to have to think about myself first, and I'm going to destroy everybody in front of me to take everything they have so that I can be number one. No, this is, I am going to think about myself first and the tools and the assets that I've acquired and how I'm going to use them for my benefit. And from my surplus, I give others. There's a difference there. And only those that have eyes to see and ears to hear will understand it, right? And what I'm seeing is that you started moving into this magician energy, and this is actually starting you into a whole new world. It's actually starting you in a process of starting a new cycle, and this feels like it's starting in January, where you're collaborating with new people. You're building something new with the Three of Pentacles. And this time you have help. And now you're standing in this energy of the Queen of Pentacles. And the Queen of Pentacles for me is a very sovereign queen, right? Everything she does makes sense. The checks and the balances are there. They're not going to be quick to, yes, I'll help you. Yes, I'll do this. They look and see if this makes sense, if the investment is going to be good enough for me to actually put forth this effort, right? And we also have, besides being the Queen of Pentacles, you're also the Page of Swords. The Page of Swords is you're learning more things. So I think that you're starting to gather more information that's going to help you get in that wholeness energy. So if I was talking about you right now, I would say that your masculine energy is strong, likes to take action, likes to move forward. This is the drive energy that you have inside of yourself. But your feminine energy is in the Pentacles and the Queen of Pentacles energy, where they're like, I am not going to invest in things that are not fruitful. If I don't see that the ground that I'm going to be investing in has nutrients to make this situation grow, I'm not going to go there. And this all goes to your truth because you've learned so much. So biggest takeaway from January is that you're calling back your strength and you're moving in a new direction with people and situations that will actually help you learn more. I feel like you're becoming very open to learn more, to evolve, to be a different version of yourself. And that's great, especially since I said year number 1 is the year of the mage, and he showed up here, right? Now we're going to go to February and see what's up. February for my Cancers. Wow, we start everything with the Princess of Swords. So like we ended on January with the Page of Swords, she shows up here again, starting off the reading for February. This feels very consistent. The King of Wands shows up again. I like where the King of Wands shows up in this reading. And we have Judgment as the final outcome. I'm also liking that. The bottom of the deck, we have the Page of Wands. So Page of Wands is talking about February feeling like the month where you're taking new actions that you didn't take before. So you're doing things that you've never done before. Okay. This can be new hobbies, new skills, taking action with new people, which makes sense because January had the Three of Wands, which literally means collaborating with new people and building something new. And so we have the beginning of the Princess of Swords. The Princess of Swords is kind of like, okay, I'm learning, open to learning, open to the guidance that I'm going to be receiving by different situations that will be around me. I'm feel like this new information I'm going to receive will make me feel more stable and secure than I was before, because the Six of Swords shows up here, which is moving into calmer waters. So whatever knowledge you're acquiring, this knowledge is linked to feeling more stable, more safe, more secure. But there is a lot of information, because we go to the Seven of Cups, and the Seven of Cups is that energy of, there's like TMI, right? Whatever you're venturing into, this new thing, it feels TMI. Like, oh my God, I don't know what else I'm going to think about. Like, oh my God, I can't believe they also want me to do this. Oh my God, one of those things. But this is the difference. The work that you did up to 2025 was so important, because we have the devil in reverse. And this devil is particularly I like, because there's stairs going to the ear, right? So these negative thoughts, these doubts, these worries, etc., that used to hold you back, right now you're not letting them in. And you're standing in your power of the King of Wands, because January's reading, we started off with the Five of Wands, where you're like, you learned how to box, right? And this is not just boxing with the external world, but boxing with yourself, because this was all about healing your inner child. That means that you had to confront the demons that limited your inner child. And these would be words, these would be thoughts, these would be actions of the world around you that told you were less than what you were. And with the King of Wands, this King of Wands is looking at the devil in reverse, like saying, oh no, I know who I am. And I've done more than this before. And yes, it might feel overwhelming now, but it won't be like that forever, because I know me. And then we have judgment, because I realized, and I like this judgment so much, because it's just two mirrors in one pathway. And what you're realizing is this energy that everything around you, every person, place, energy, frequency that pops up in front of you is a reflection of yourself, or a wound that you have still not healed. And then in being able to determine that that is there present, and that you are actually being triggered by an external wound, then whatever that person says doesn't matter. What matters is why it triggered me, so that I can cauterize that wound, because it no longer defines me. So your judgment has changed, and that's why you're changing your world. I am seeing a person that's strongly evolving into their North Node energy, and I am loving it. This energy is amazing. So maybe that's why you couldn't give up the cookie before. Ay, Dios mío. Because you needed to evolve to this point, right? So now we're going to March and see what's happening. King of Pentacles. I'm liking that, because we had January, you as a Queen of Pentacles, and now we're activating the King of Pentacles. So this means that you're moving from, I have to take action, I have to fight for myself, and I have to defend myself, to this energy of, I just gonna sit here because I got the Midas touch, and things just come to me because I'm the shit. Period. Facts. Because again, moving into calmer waters. This one's really, really present, the Six of Swords. The World card. Moving to the Ten of Swords. Shut up. Tell me if that's not an end, a double end. That's like end. Queen of Cups. And the Seven of Cups. I'm not going to take this one, but it showed up, and this has to do with Eight of Pentacles, so it has a lot to do with work situation. All right, the bottom of the deck, we have the Ace of Wands. So this is, I'm going to look at the one right after it. The Ace of Wands with the Moon. And the Two of Wands, followed by the Emperor card. I feel like the actions that you're going to take, you might not be 100% sure of it, and there might be like a little balancing act that you're going to have to do as you're going towards it, but you're learning how to be the emperor. I feel somebody here is strongly calling back their force, their authority, and their autonomy. I feel like whoever I'm talking to here of the sign of Cancer, I just keep hearing, you were always somebody else's bitch, and now you're like, I'm not doing that anymore. And what I'm seeing is I'm sitting here in my throne with the King of Pentacles because I know my place and I know my authority. And I know that everything I touch will end up being good for me because I'm moving into calmer waters in this whole new world. And I have ended and killed these feelings of melancholy, of doubt, of depression, of sadness, of insecurities that were inside of me. Because honestly, the Queen of Cups for me is a person that's sometimes way too stuck in their emotions. And it's like woulda, shoulda, coulda island. And that's what's leaving you. And options are opening, so many options. Because again, options are opening because you're sitting in your throne, because the people come to you. You don't go to the people. I'm liking this a lot. This is a person that I'm talking to in the sign of Cancer that legit um, has taken over their world. I have this thing that I used to say a lot with my husband where when we first got together, we resonated strongly with Pinky in the Brain. And that is the energy of, like, there's two lab rats, right? They were used for experimentations and stuff, right? And one of them got really smart, one of them was a little retarded. And every single day, Pinky, the retarded one, would tell the smart one, Brain, what we're going to do this night, because at night is when they used to do things, right, in the dark. And he would say, so Brainer, what are we going to do today? And Brain would look at Pinky and say, what we do every night. We're going to take over the world. And me and my husband would say that a lot to each other. I feel like that's what's happening right here. When a person takes over the world, it's not about taking over the world like this world, but each one of us are a world of our own with different likes, dislikes, realities, expressions. And it's funny because not two people will have the same experience in the same location at the same time, because it all is by perception. Because each one of us is an island of our own, right? And so when you're saying, I'm going to take over the world, it's like, I'm going to gain autonomy. I'm going to be the one. I am going to be a co-creator with God, universe, the source, women, band, and doesn't matter what the hell you call it, but whatever. The all, the beginning, the end, the alpha and the omega. And we're going to co-create this reality together because I'm not anybody's bitch. This is a person that really took their power back in an extreme way. So a long time ago when I started my YouTube channel, I was used to use affirmation decks a lot, and then I stopped. I wanted to bring them back. So I'm going to be using these affirmations. I hope you enjoy it. Let's see what comes out for you, my Cancers. I'm sorry. It's just that I see this guy on YouTube that I really like. His name is Steven Loves Tarot. That's his link. Okay. And he keeps talking about how 2026 is the mustard rhino year. He's the one that chimed that. Okay. That's legit him. And the reason why I took a moment and I looked at this is, and he always says that Cancer applies to everyone because we are in a soulmate cycle with Cancer. That's what he says. And I'm starting to see that we might be in the same frequency because legit. And here we go. I am courageous and I stand up for myself. Look at this. It's a rhino, dude. In the back, it says, be who you are and say what you feel, because those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind. Bernard Baruch, I think it's pronounced Baruch. Tell me you if you're not taking over your world, Cancer. Good for you. It's about time. We'll see you.